Yes, everyone, welcome back to the channel. Stephen Howson.
You already know who I am.
Oh, soz.
Nah.
What if someone's just tuned in for the first time ever and goes, who's that Snoop Dogg looking fucker?
I'm Ronaldo Brown. I hope that was in the first 15 seconds, by the way. Absolutely smashed it, haven't you? Absolutely. Nah, to be fair, I might have got away with the intro. But anyway, the Liverpool Pundits, it's not just been a today thing, but it's been all season. There have been some absolutely outrageous takes, and it's not even just earlier, like they're still happening now. I'm not just looking at
they are still happening now.
I'm not just looking at the anti-United ones. I'm on about ones where they've just been defending this demise that Liverpool have been in. And they don't even hide it. Liverpool media bias has been a thing that's been quite a few years now.
Well,
but anyway,
you was born in 98, right?
Yeah, I was.
If you watch the Premier League years from 98, 99, obviously I'm assuming you don't remember it, but if you watch the Premier League years for 98, 99, they are hyping up Liverpool's title chances. And I'm like, what? They're like, with Michael Owen, and I can't remember, Patrick Berger maybe. I can't remember who it was, but it was definitely Michael Owen and some others. And it was like, look at this brilliant team they got. Getting piped off to a level that only Liverpool get piped off to.
Is it?
And it's happened time and time and time and time again that they're just.
I think United get
media
the hard.
darlings.
United get the most flack in terms of any loss, any demise. It's the most.
Danny Sabbath says you need to see Steve Nicol's comments on Lisandro over the weekend. Well, I think Ronaldo has them.
We have literally found him. You know what? I think because it's one of the most recent ones, we are going to start on the Steve Nicol comments. All right. So Steve Nicol was going through what he thought was making United.
Steve Nicol's the geezer on ESPN.
He's a geezer on ESPN.
A lot of people have been asking me to go in on this guy because... Who's the other guy on ESPN?
Craig Burley.
That's the one. Craig Burley and Steve Nicol are just...
But Craig Burley was actually backing us in this sense. Craig Burley was quite harsh on us early in the season, but he's kind of... He turned it around for a sense.
5 or 6
but
years.
he was... Yeah. But Steve Nicol is the Liverpool American ESPN FC kind of mogul, and he's very, very bitter. And he was trying to talk about the spine that United have created now, which is... So he mentioned Varane and Casemiro and Rashford, and he refused to mention Martinez because apparently early in the season he said that he was too small. He was one of those people. And Craig Burley was like, you've not mentioned Lisandro Martinez, who has been absolutely excellent for United, and he's been one of their most important players this season. And then Steve Nicol was like, come off it, he overcommits. And then he said a stat that was just wrong. He said he's not even started half the games. Was his word. His response was, Lisandro Martinez has not started half the game, so he can't be that good. That's what he said out of his own mouth. When Lisandro Martinez has apparently started...
So he said he's only started 4 out of our last 8, which...
This was what he said 6 days ago, so I think this might have been before the Barca game, where he said, or just after the Barca game, he said, Lisandro Martinez has only started 4 of the last 8 games, when in fact, at that time, Martinez had started 9 of the last 11.
It's not possible for his stat to make sense.
No, his stat was just wrong. He just made it up. But then he stuck by it and said that Martinez hasn't played half the games, as if he's not played half the games in the season, so he can't be that good. When he's just flat out wrong. When I think Martinez has the 3rd or 4th most minutes for United this season, and he started when he said those comments, I think he started 34 of United's 39 games.
Oh, come on, mate.
So
Casemiro's not the sign of the season. Who is then? Who is?
I think he was trying to say, and he said Casemiro isn't a sign of the season when he was asked it, and he said because he thinks if United signed anyone in the position that Casemiro was in, it would have moved the needle for us anyway. Was his comment?
Don't talk wet.
And
right?
then
you literally had Erling Haaland that's took City from 1st to 2nd, right? You've had Casemiro take United from probably what at least emotionally felt like the worst place we've been in my time of watching us as a club.
Yeah.
match going. I think it was probably a little bit worse around early Fergie, pre-Fergie, but 1990 onwards, it was arguably our worst time of watching a club. But certainly it felt like it. I know that you can statistically say actually it was probably, no, feeling-wise, that Ralph Rangnick era, after me being so hyped about it, was so poor. You think every single player in this club is a knob. You think none of them deserve to be United players. All of these problems with the club, and then he buys a handful of players, and he's won 75% of his games.
It's just bang on. I don't know. Like I didn't get that comment, because what do you actually think of the comment of what he said of if United signed any midfielder in that position because he knew we needed a defensive midfielder, it would have moved the needle for us anyway.
Over the last 10 years, we've signed 1 or 2 midfielders.
So exactly.
From Schweinsteiger
and then he started saying Caicedo would have done the same thing, and he was just jumping through loopholes to try and make it see. So I looked at
but here's a truism, right? Yeah. Pep's a genius, but if you'd have put any manager in there, and given them that sort of thing, they would have done the same. Now that's more true than Casemiro. Anyone moving the needle for him. Yeah, Widge, shut up.
Absolute Widge. But the thing is, what I wanted to more mention.
He said he'd rather Liverpool do an unbeaten Premier League season than win a treble. You'd rather win one. So you don't maths, right? Yeah. So you'd rather win 1 trophy than 3. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Shut up.
All right. So we spoke about Steve Nicol, but it's not just them. It's like I need you. All right. Everyone liked when Steve spoke about Graeme Souness, right? So soon as his takes have aged extremely badly, but it's the fact that he won't go back on it. Carragher did a little bit, but Souness won't. He's too stubborn, and I feel like he's refusing. He's been refusing to go back on TalkSport. It seems. I think like he's hiding a little bit. Obviously,
the thing is with TalkSport, it's designed for this, and I hate that I fall for this, but it's designed for it because some of the stuff that they say with their chest is just provable bollocks.
It is provable bollocks because...
Especially Cabiag, honestly.
I think I'll have something in a pipeline for him, but the thing with the Souness one is the reason why it still needs mentioning today is because we've seen just how good for how long Casemiro has been, and it's arguably might be the best he's ever been. And
we've unlocked a different level of him.
I think that we're not going to go in too much on that because I feel like something in the part. I think you're going to look into it in a video.
What he did with Real Madrid,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, and we will. But what he did with Real Madrid, he wasn't required to do something.
Yeah, exactly. We're going to touch on it.
So we've actually, and I get the vibe that he's actually loving life at United.
I think he's absolutely loving it, and I think he's taken to this new level with his character and stuff. But it irks me. I did tweet about this. Souness said early in the season that Casemiro was playing with great players. He's not a great player. He's never been a great player. He actually said that with confidence and then called him a steady Eddie. Casemiro started in the Real Madrid midfield for the best part of a decade, winning 18 trophies. You cannot start midfield for Real Madrid for the best part of 10 years, win 18 trophies and be a steady Eddie. It's literally impossible. I feel like it's almost like an oxymoronic statement. It doesn't even make sense. Real Madrid with unlimited funds.
He played with great players. He wasn't a great player. I think that was the lead-in.
That was a lead-in, and then called him a steady Eddie. What's your opinion on it, though, Steve, in terms of, do you think you can just be a passenger in a Real Madrid midfield for 10 years when we've got as much spending power as they have, with as much success as they have, where they could literally have anyone in midfield as they want?
The award show that I went to on Monday, I'm pretty sure that award show used to do best goalkeeper, best defender, best midfielder, best striker, right?
Yeah.
Did it? Someone in the comments, let us know. I'm almost certain Casemiro's won best midfielder at one of those award shows, right? In fact, do you know what?
Yeah.
We have the power of the internet.
We have the power.
Our hands. I'm going to Google it. Because it'll be on his Wikipedia, won't it, if he won it? So, let's have a look at honours. It's not on there. Did I make it up? I'm sure it was a few years ago. Here's what I remember it, right? So, not long after I started doing YouTube solo on this channel, me and Statman Dave used to do these debates with One Football.
Yeah.
And one of the debates that we did, it was either One Football or Who Scored. We did this debate, and it was who was the most underrated midfielder in Europe. And Dave went for Casemiro. And my entire argument was that's mental because he's either the best midfielder in Europe or the second best. So at most, he's misranked by a single place. I chose Houssem Ouar 6 years ago when he was like 18, 19, because I thought, this kid's magic. He's doing everything Pogba does, and he's just not been seen. And I think he's had a decent career since then. He's shown his... But he was like unheard of, not known. So no matter where you ranked him, it was going to be more than one place out of his ranking. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So therefore, it's a bit of a technicality, but we're here to win, right? So Dave's argument was Casemiro's the most underrated player, but he'd just won an award. I'm sure he had. I'd have to go and watch that video to find out. But he'd literally just been voted either in the team of the season or as a midfielder, or he'd won best European midfielder or something along those lines. So I'm like, my argument for the whole thing was he's either ranked first or second as midfielder.
Yeah.
So how can he be underrated?
I don't. I fully agree with you. But the fact of the matter is he's just been one of the best players in world football for his position for however long. So I just feel like it was a strange statement. It kind of reads a bit of like, is it because he's not played in England, and is it that? So he's not being very rare, because it just seems like a strange statement. It's an outrageous statement to say. That's
a lot of these pundits, the ones on our thumbnail here, a lot of these pundits don't watch anything apart from the match they're paid to watch. Right? I'm not even kidding. Some of them do a lot of research, right?
Yeah.
I think the best pundit out there is Danny Higginbottom. I think he goes to work. He treats it like a job.
Make sure he got the super chat.
I've spoken to Danny when he's been doing stuff, and he's asked opinion on stuff, and like I know he's doing days worth of work before he commentates on a game, or he's asked for his opinion after a game. He goes to work. So when you hear Danny Higginbottom speak, his opinion is based on the fact that he's brought some knowledge to the table with that, or he's gone and found out. When you hear Paul Merson go, Osherman, he's in Serie A. What does that mean?
Just means they not see it, and they'll be like, Kane, he's done it in the Premier League. Do you know what I mean? It's just the proper. It's so. A lot of these pundits are so insular.
And that's it. They watch one game a week, match of the day, done.
Exactly what you said about Spitzer. He said, he's not getting in the Bayern team. It's just outrageous. But and they overrate English players a lot, which is just one of them things. But Fergal McClements says for a super chat, just to sum up the job Tenaga's done, you just have to compare the build up to his Liverpool game and the last one. The feelings United fans had going into both, we were scared last time, now they're panicking. I feel like there's a bit of an air of confidence about it, but it's almost kind of that hope and pressure, that hope that I don't like. I almost rather be an underdog.
I don't think we're winning at Anfield. I think it's too hard a job. Now, I'll take a draw if it's on offer. I tend to agree. The difference between this one, just think about it, right? Last season was as hopeless as I've ever... I need to grab all of them super chats. So if I've not read them, pull them out for me, please. Last season, that 5-0 at home, I felt hopeless as a United fan, and that is the one time I've maybe Barcelona in '94 where you just go, wow, we're never going to be that good. Like Barcelona did unspeakable shit to us. Yeah, you need to go speak to a counsellor after what happened to us in the game against Liverpool last year. It was an absolute shagging that we got off them. So when you look at the distance we've made up on them to turn the home game into a victory this season, and I don't think we'd really started to play well. I think we got a win, but we weren't playing well. We've started to be able to play well, and our game management's getting really good, and we've just gone to Barcelona and put it on them away from home. I think this weekend could be a bit of a replica of that. Where we go and put it on them but maybe don't quite get the win. So there's an air of confidence going to them, like we might get something here, whereas it's just been hopelessness for years, where we've not even tried. Like the Jose years where we just turned up and was like, we'd try and 0-0 it and they're happy with a 1-0. Like,
yeah. Now, can we look at the next super chat then? Now that we've
so Rune says Souness, the same man who decided to sign Ali Dia. What a joke of an expert, right? So I educated someone in this room on that this week, didn't I?
Yeah.
So Ronnie did not know about Ali Dia, right? Ronnie did not know what that whole story was, so I had to explain it to him, and he didn't believe me. I don't think at first.
I didn't know about the Ali Dia stuff. Never heard about it.
So
Souness
I'm assuming there's going to be some others in the mix here that don't know about Ali Dia. So obviously, I'm a manager, right? We have people come into our training sessions to try out for the team every week, would you say? Some people look pretty good. Some people miles away from it. Nosa brought that winger down last week. Not seen him again since. He'd be pretty good. I'd sign him on. But he's not come back. Now, he was manager of Southampton. It's about mid-90s, 95, 96, I feel, something like that. Peak Matt Letizia time is what it was anyway. So he gets a phone call from a guy that's pretending to be George Weah's cousin, right? George Weah at the time, AC Milan, World Player of the Year, gets on the blower and is like, hello, Graeme. My cousin's in Southampton. Is there any possibility of getting him a trial? He's really good. He's blah, 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 right? Think of the paperwork that's required for you to sign a player on. And the checks that must have to be done. So he turns up for training. Matt Letizia tells this story great. It's the only story I'd ever listened to from Matt Letizia. And Matt Letizia is like, so he comes to training, runs about a bit, but he's shit. Like, he's obviously shit. He's obviously not a Premier League player level. He goes, and then we get to the match at the weekend. I think they were away. I feel like they were away. They might have been at home. And he's like, he's with us. And you're like, what the fucking hell's going on here? Turns out Graeme Souness signed him, boshed him on the bench. And he subbed him on. I want to say he subbed him off, but I don't know if that's just me embellishing the story or not. But he definitely subbed him on, and he was fucking awful. And then I think when he finished the game, I think he never came back to training or anything like that. But Graeme Souness basically got hoodwinked by someone. But the worrying thing to me is, as a manager, you oversee training. Ain't nobody gets picked in my 11 unless I like them. I like bringing our under-21s into the mix and putting them on the bench and seeing what they're like in the first team after I've seen them in training. There's nobody come anywhere near me without impressing in the first team. So how Graeme Souness did it as a Premier League manager with registration windows and all of the paperwork and contracts that are required to be a Premier League player. He went through that entire process with Ali Dia, who, by the way, George Weah's never heard of.
So what we're saying is Souness has been senile since the 90s?
I don't think you can legally say that.
Allegedly.
I think his judgment's been questionable since the 90s, and I think that's perfectly fine. Wowzers. So if you didn't know about that, now you know. KMD Lopper with a super chat there, thank you very much, says, can you guys see the losses predicted by Sutton? What are the losses predicted by Sutton?
I have no idea. But we'll have a look into it. And SK says two things his position goals are noticed, especially a good one. Like Ronaldo said, they don't watch Liga, yeah? I just feel like a lot of the pundits don't really watch anything. And Ejiro, I disagree we have to beat Liverpool. They peppered us last year. About time we return the favour. If we don't, it's a disappointment. 3-2 United. Well, I'm hoping, but no matter what, it's a tough ask going to Anfield and getting the job done, especially the fact I think they've only lost once at home this season. That was against Leeds. So it's going to be a difficult task no matter what it is. Allegedly.
That's from my shorts account. Who's running that?
Probably Chris. Probably Chris trying to get me.
Dean Kakaros says, do I see Casemiro making a depth problem? That when he's out, who can take the baton from him? I think United could do a couple of signings this summer. I mean, the dream one. I mean, do you know what? I think we're going to save this for a different video. But, I mean, we spoke about it on Twitter earlier, didn't we? We're thinking about the possibility of Frenkie de Jong. I think Frenkie de Jong coming in, you still do need a bit more of a combative player. Could you see United maybe moving for Bellingham and De Jong, or is that?
No, that's way too much. I think De Jong's pretty much the perfect midfield profile to go alongside Casemiro, because De Jong can be combative enough, but he's good enough on the ball. Obviously, the spam. Well, Christos. The thing is with these super chats, it gets us to pronounce names that I can't do.
It's not hard. But Christos anyway.
Christos, Heisty, when he's cold on 5v5.
He was booked in. I saw the handwritten diary note that he was in. But it was Rio. Where did Rio end up going a couple of weeks ago? It was a couple of weeks ago he was meant to be on, and then it's been rearranged. I don't know when it's been rearranged to. But yeah, he'll be coming on. We do have a guest on Monday, and it's a big one that you all want to hear from. So...
No, it's like to tune in with that one. But obviously, now that we've rounded up with
Could it be Mainu? As SK says that.
Never know. We'll have to see what his development is. But at the moment he's 17. But I think there's a serious player in Mainu, so we'll have to see how that kind of materialises. But there was one thing that I did want to mention. Obviously, Steve's got a mate. Do you know what I mean? Maybe a pal, buddy. Your mate Danny.
Oh, Danny Murphy.
Danny Murphy.
I just done a video with Danny Murphy this morning.
Yeah, because Danny Murphy's another Liverpool pro pundit that has said some mad stuff earlier in the season.
Hey, you need to watch it though, because he shocked me with his prediction.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? You'll be surprised. But Danny Murphy did say before the season started, which is a take that aged badly, that he thought United should have appointed Gareth Southgate instead of Eric Ten Hag.
I asked him about that. You have to watch out the video for his answer.
And Steve's asked him on video about it, and you'll have to watch what he says, because that is a mad statement. I think he said that, and he moaned about Ten Hag start of the season, saying that he's a whinger, stuff like that. Just a few.
I think Ten Hag's not a whinger, and that's one of the qualities I like about him the most. Is he takes everything on the chin. People are like, "Oh, how are you going to cope with all these games?" And he's like, "Oh, we love playing football. That's why."
Yeah.
Secretly, he's probably going, fuck knows.
No, it's not a whinge. Obviously, every manager whinges a little bit, but that Murphy comment is a bit.
Yeah.
I can't believe someone actually said Southgate instead of Ten Hag, with all the credentials that Ten Hag had, and just the fact that we saw for years that Southgate was an awful manager for England. I can't believe that he said that.
I'll give you a preview. So he said, as he was talking about why he brought that up, or why he suggested that, he said, never sees Gareth Southgate getting linked with any of these jobs. And I went, it's because he's gash, Danny.
I can't believe it. You can't get any more like insular English like biased than these pundits saying Southgate over Ten Hag after seeing how Southgate's been for England.
Yeah, and the argument generally goes he's Premier League proven. But the thing with Southgate is he's Premier League proven that he's shit.
Yeah.
Like...
They just don't. I feel like anything outside of England, they're kind of dodgy about. Obviously, there's a few more there in it. We've gone Carragher. You've already addressed. Have you personally addressed that with him? What he said about Martinez? He did go back on it a little bit, which people are surprised about, because usually when people say it to me, he gets really defensive.
Yeah,
which is weird.
He can be like that kind of Carragher. He kind of he gets a bit defensive about his opinions. But yeah, he did backtrack on it, and he said, yeah, he's been good.
He did backtrack, but I find it strange that Carragher said the undersized thing when he was undersized centre-half himself.
He's a big lad, you know.
He's 6 foot.
Yeah, but he feels like a big lad. Like Jaap Stam, I think, was about 6 foot.
He wasn't a big lad when he came up against Drogba.
I don't think anyone's a big lad when you come up against Drogba.
Yeah,
I think Drogba's one of that. Have you heard Ashley Williams talking about marking Drogba? And he was like, you have to look round him like this. He was so fucking wide. Oh, fuck that. I saw Drogba on Monday, actually.
Yeah, did you?
Yeah, I didn't speak to him. Didn't speak to Van Dijk either. I did turn round and say, how long would I get in jail if I just fucking end him here now?
I don't want to be like that person, but I feel like Drogba's not the same person bald.
Nah. He looks strange.
He looks very odd when he's bald now. Like, I think he doesn't have the same vibe.
Wesley Sneijder was there, getting off his nut.
What poll have you put there, Josh?
Southgate or Ten Hag.
Josh, man. Come on. Jesus, a poll for that. There's 4% have said Southgate. Oh, definitely Liverpool fans.
People trolling.
Liverpool fans in here, 100%. I reckon it's Southgate.
What's Michael Owen said? Because if you finish this on Michael Owen, I need to tell you about what Klopp said today.
Yeah. All right. So Michael Owen's another one where he's not so much been anti-United, but he's so defensive.
Right. Hang on. Sorry. Ekman says Jaap Stam is 6'3", you knob. Have you met him? He ain't. Also, you need to go and look at the photograph of him and Rio, because Rio 6'3", 6'4".
Yeah.
Right?
But Rio's
Rio towers over Jaap Stam,
right,
which I was shocked about.
Rio's an that's
because in my head,
Rio's
he was
a
the
unit.
Same size.
He's actually a unit. Rio, like a proper. I didn't realise he was that big, but
it was. The thing is, he's far more jacked now than he ever was as a player.
Yeah, but just height. Yeah, I get you.
But like as a player, I got a photo of him and Jaden when 2014. So he's. I was going to say he just retired then, but he technically was still playing.
IR says 94% plus 5%. Nice maths. The percentage has changed. Do you know what I mean? By the time I said it. Listen, I used to be mathematicians anyway. Oh, but if you're going to mention what Michael Owen said before you talk about Klopp.
Yeah, so go on. Go Michael Owen.
Right, so Michael Owen has been known to every time that Liverpool have a Champions League game, he just says they're the best team in the world, no matter what the performance is.
Didn't he also do that when they got battered by Real Madrid?
I think after the Real Madrid defeat,
like
he just said he kept reiterating that they'll still got a chance and that they're great. He can't say anything negative, and also he did say after the loss to Madrid, he said it happens. In the COVID hit season, Liverpool lost 6 in a row here at Anfield, which was unprecedented. You can attribute it to a lot of things. I don't know. There's the rest of a quote here, but Dre's not. But like the saying that he just blamed it on possibly like the midfield signings or whatever. Saying people could say it's owners, but he thinks that Liverpool is still good and they can bounce back, and that everyone's overreacting a bit. Was his kind of general gist joke. That's how. But if you watch BT whenever Liverpool are on, Michael Owen's very, very like.
He's trying to get back in there with Liverpool fans, but they hate him because he won't leave with us.
And there's also something he said earlier in the season, United related, that didn't age really well. After the Ronaldo thing, he says, this is what Michael Owen said about Ten Hag. He said, I hear Ten Hag talk about Rashford needs to score 20 goals. Well, he had 20 goals sat right under his nose, unfortunately, but he was sat on the bench a lot of the time. He could have played him every week, and then he would have solved his problem. This was Michael Owen talking about Ronaldo and defending Ronaldo and the fact that Ten Hag was omitting him, which now has aged very badly because Rashford has way over 20 goals and United have kicked on ever since Ronaldo left. So cheers for that, Michael Owen.
Yeah, there was a lot of people sort of really getting in Ronaldo's corner, but you could see he wasn't doing it on the pitch regularly no more. Nate Stephen there says, Steve, I was wondering if there a paddock game I could go to over the next 5 days. I'm in Manchester for my spring break. Yes, tomorrow. And then there'll be one next Saturday as well, but there's one tomorrow. And if you want to get in the mix, we are playing at 2 o'clock in Wivenshaw tomorrow, and you can get a tram. The tram stop's about 100 metres or less from the venue, innit?
Yeah.
So you can get a tram from the city centre to there. Have a look on my Twitter. I retweeted the venue with all the details on it and that. So if you're in the area tomorrow, we're playing a team that's beat us 4-0 twice and are somehow shit. So we've got to turn it around tomorrow.
Yeah, it's a very interesting one. Obviously, I know we kind of like these videos usually when they get you on the pundits and that or whatever. And I feel like a lot of people want you to go back in on Gabby, possibly. We may or may not do that video, but I feel like if this video gets, 500 likes before the end, we'll definitely do it.
Yeah, all right, 500 before the end. 500 likes before the end, and we'll do another Gabby video.
But tell us what Klopp said.
So Klopp, right? I would urge you all to go and watch what Klopp said, because his behaviour, he's like biting his knuckles
Can you write that, Josh?
Press conference.
In the comments. Go on.
Watch how weird he is in the video. He is acting tweaked out, is the only way I can describe it.
He always looks like that, though.
No.
Yeah,
I watch
Jurgen
press conferences
because
I've got this weird obsession with seeing him wig out with journalists for the most banal of questions. So why are you asking these things? Not talking to you.
Yeah.
He's a proper dickhead to journalists, right? And they still have this sort of way with him, and I don't get it in the slightest. But yeah, I would urge you to go and watch it, because the entire thing is like, you can try and put some of what he said into context, but there's no context. It's the ramblings of a mad person, right? It's weird. You need to go watch Klopp's press conference about United at the moment. Now, here's what he said. He's like, United are playing well, but it's obviously not a team built. They're playing well now, but it's obviously not a team built for the next 20 years. Right, I'm going to get to that in a second, because the players of their sound. It is for now. Now they're really good. Who's signing 10-year-olds, Jurgen?
What's he on about?
Who's ever built a team for the next 20 years? 20 years. I'm just going to give you some names. Wan-Bissaka, Dalot, Martinez, Malacia, Rashford, Anthony, Sancho, Garnacho, Alanga, Mainu, Palestri. They're all 25 or under.
Okay. So what point is he trying to make?
I'll refer you to my previous statement that it's the ramblings of a mad person. Who's building a team for 20 years?
I have no idea what he's on about.
Teams over 5 or 6 years cycle.
He's lost me there.
At absolute best, right? 5 or 6 years is a cycle of one team.
Especially for him.
You can throw in the word cycle as much as you like or as little as you like and infer it to mean whatever it means. I mean, it's a circle of the life cycle of that team.
The cycle's very, obviously, it's a very punny word for for
We'll just
for
leave it at
Klopp's
that. We'll just leave it at
relation. Yeah. But yeah, he does sound. He said something odd about Rashford in it as well. He just seemed a bit. I think tweaked out was right in the press conference.
Weird,
I don't know if he's a bit rattled.
SK says, "Tell me you're rattled." Without telling me you're rattled, Klopp, I'm not bothered. Are you?
Yeah.
Yeah, like him and Pep are bizarre. And again, another reason why I can't love Erik ten Hag the most. He's so respectful. And even when he was being respectful, he kind of put it on the line a little bit. Like when he's like, era's come to an end.
Come to an end.
That was a hell of a line, you know. That, right, if the fan channel don't make a T-shirt about that, everyone needs sacking. Because the day that we win the league again, era's come to an end, is going to be... United might as well blast it all over the front of the glass on East Stand.
That could become a really iconic phrase, you know.
Of course it could. I mean, he said it this year. What happened? Liverpool was in 10th for a minute, right? And Manchester City are about to get their asses handed to them by the league.
Do you know what? Erik ten Hag, you know, he's making me feel good again. And I think the fact that he's got
a question with ten Hag. What are you asking him?
I'll answer that, but I feel like the fact that he's got rivals so rattled as well.
Yeah.
Because he's obviously got...
And he's so chill about it.
And he's so chill about it because Klopp seems rattled. I think Pep said stuff in the media last week where he sounded a bit rattled as well about our Carabao Cup victory. Ten Hag's he's ruffling some feathers. I feel like if I could ask him...
the Geordies are rattled. I got a big old bite from Alan Shearer me this week.
Yeah, that's another one that you could say. might have to get Alan Shearer on the channel. But,
I'll ask him, but the way he was rattled this week, he's coming.
Yeah, maybe. Never know. But if
go on, your question with Ten Hag. You get Ten Hag a question.
One question. Ooh. I would ask for his... I said, if I get one question with him, I'd ask, but he'd have to answer truthfully. What are your genuine opinions on the footballing ability of Harry Maguire?
I think actions speak louder than words, Ronnie, and his actions tell you everything you need to know about how he rates Harry Maguire's footballing abilities. The fact that he decided to play a left back in front of him.
I'd ask him what point, like where in the centre back hierarchy does he put Harry Maguire?
Yeah, and when you hear the name Ted and Menge, and you go, he's got a point.
And what's the
Will Fish. Where's Will Fish? At Stockport?
Yeah, something like that.
There's a comment I just saw a second ago there. Just slowly scroll back up. A little bit more. Pep Linders, that was what I was looking for. I can't find the comment actually. Oh, there it was. So Neil Mills, thank you. Right, I've got the name. So love the fact that one of Klopp's coaches, Pep Linders, has published a book on Liverpool tactics. Right. So someone messaged me this last night, and I said, you need to buy this. So I saw it and dismissed it because I'm not interested in reading books about Liverpool's success, really, right? If you think about the reasons why, I'm not. But someone sent it me and said, you need to read this because this is so detailed, like coaches will learn stuff from it. And I thought you might like that. So I'm going to buy it.
Okay.
I'm going to buy it.
I've already told you, innit? He was my coach on the 16s, Pep Linders as well. But
you got his digits. He's left Liverpool, hasn't he?
Nah, he's Pep Linders. He's been his assistant for Klopp all these
years.
He's
gone. You're not gone?
Nah, he's still there.
Mate, how have they allowed this book to go out?
I don't know, but I'm not gonna lie to you. He's a great coach. I reckon a lot of their success that they have had is just as much him, obviously, as Klopp, because I think he would be the coach that's actually training them. You know, that kind of coach. Because obviously it's come out in the reports today like that the players at United are buzzing with Steve McLaren and Mitchell Van Gaag.
Mitchell Van
Ten Hag
Gaag.
2.0.
Van Gaag, yeah.
Saying the training sessions are good and...
Assassin 49, whatever it was.
Do you know what I mean? So it's important. But obviously, you asked me my question. What would you ask Ten Hag if you get one question with him?
He's one of those that I don't know if I could ask a single question. There's a waste
that
on
sounds like
because you need a follow-up question.
No. No, you don't. Sounds like you bottled it.
Yeah, maybe I have.
That's a
but it's the same with, like if you go right, you've got one question with Fergie. I have no idea. Like, there's too much going on here.
What about a current one?
Distill it.
What about a current one?
What do you mean?
Like a question that's current where it's not historic. So like something that's kind of topical. That
with
might narrow
Fergie?
it down. No, with Ten Hag.
With Ten Hag, and it's the same. Yeah, that I'm going to get the truth and not a press conference answer because a press conference answer is not the answer that you want.
Yeah.
Are you genuinely worried about rotation? And is this squad capable of competing on multiple fronts?
Or would you ask him like an owner question?
He's not going to give it. Well,
if
you can get the real answer.
If you get a real answer, would you ask him?
You get maybe that's the one you ask Fergie, but you ain't getting a real answer out of that.
That is true. But all in all, I wonder if have we got to 500 likes yet, or has Gabby escaped?
Andy there with a super chat. Thank you very much. Our kid says there's friendly fire from Paul Parker. Most ex-United have talked sense of being supportive, but his comments are weird and negative. Here's the thing with United pundits, right? And this is why for the last 10 years it's been hard work. Every United pundit had ultra successful careers at United.
Yeah.
So their standards of what United should be are extremely high.
Yeah.
Scholes being the dry sense of humour kind of guy that he is, the no-nonsense approach to everything. He's unimpressed the last 10 years. That's just been Paul Scholes.
Do you think he's that just his personality? Because some people feel like...
Yeah, but he's have you listened to him with Ten Hag?
He's a bit more...
Yeah, he's seeing things that he likes. So
Same with Keane.
Same with Keane. Yeah, Keane has been... He comes across almost as bitter about United, but I don't think he is. I think he expects United to be better than they are and isn't happy that they're not. Whereas, have you noticed he's like, you lot be happy with that performance this week to Joe Cole and Ian Wright?
Yeah.
Because he sees United doing the right things, I think.
Yeah.
So I think Roy Keane and Paul Scholes, they're a great barometer for if you're doing well, because if they're giving it you ain't doing well.
Yeah.
But if they're not giving it you, even if they're not praising you, if the fact that they're not giving it you means you're doing pretty well, because their standards are impossible.
Exactly. But then you got like Gary Neville, who can be like proper up and down and all over the place. You can see that he's
Real gets carried away.
Yeah, Real gets carried away.
Real gets carried away with a good result.
The Gary Neville one's strange because Gary Neville makes it. You can see it's really clear and obvious that Gary Neville is a proper United fan. So to the point where I think he's such a United fan that he tries to overcompensate in some of his punditry. Do you know what I mean? To not look biased.
He definitely does that.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? But I think we're on the up, and I see a difference in Roy Keane. I think Ten Hag's cured a bit of his stress. I think he's making him feel good again, and I'm seeing a lot of positives. You even got obviously Roy Keane's comments after the West Ham game. He even showed like a little bit of arrogance about it, thinking West Ham got giddy and stuff. You saw the comments that he made. It was proper funny. He said, just like the Spurs this world, which I find funny that Tottenham Hotspur as a football club are used as a barometer or an adjective for underachieving and bottling. So Tottenham are not involved in this game. But if you're the word that came to Roy Keane's mind in terms of talking about West Ham like bottling it and not like being that good was to call them Spursy.
SK says 1, glory and honour. 2, 100% concentration 100% of the time. 3, good isn't good enough. 3 quotes, 3 cups, it's a sign. Are they all 10 Hag quotes?
I'm not sure.
SK, let us know. Are they 10 Hag quotes? Junior says Keane blasted West Ham and other team. Loved it when he said team come to Old Trafford and get happy when they get a few chances but fail to win and cry that they lost. Yeah, but he's right.
That's what used to happen.
I think he might have said it. Someone said it at least anyway, that this United team do give a team a chance. And you've got, I think it was Roy Keane that said it. And he's right. This United team do give you a chance. Leicester got a chance. West Ham got a chance.
Yeah.
We've conceded goals. People have had a chance. SK says it. Yes, it is. They're pretty good quotes, then.
It's interesting. Someone talked about saying Sabitzer in there, saying that he's too good to sit on the bench for Man U. It's true. I think Sabitzer's good, but I also think we haven't seen the best of Sabitzer yet. But we've seen really promising signs. I know he was a bit in and out of the game against West Ham, but I feel like he suffered a bit playing next to McTominay. I think he'll play better when he plays next to Casemiro, and also the fact that I think he played a little bit too high at times, Sabitzer, against West Ham. But I think he looks like he can be a serious goal threat, and he gets about a little bit when he acclimatises to the speed of the Premier League as well. I think he'll be
perfect
really
squad player.
I think he's a perfect squad player.
You add him into the mix with everybody else that we've got, and I think what you've got is a player that can just do stuff with you.
Exactly.
Before we get to that, I just want to quickly get onto something. Do you want to read another couple of questions out?
Right, let me look at
Fatty says Stammy's 6'3". Okay, well, something's going on then. Real must be 6'5", which he's not. So, like, go and look at the photo Real put on his Twitter. Him and Yap Stam, there's a good 3 or 4 inch difference in them, isn't there?
Yeah, there is.
It's a massive difference.
But anyway, let me look at a few of the questions over Baz Matty Rice. Yeah, Keane did say that he was quite underwhelmed with Declan Rice. I think Declan Rice is a good player. I think he's an upgrade on McTominay. I feel like he's slightly overrated, which a lot of English players often are. And I think the 100 million price tag for him is nowhere near good enough. But I do think he's the type of player that could go into a Chelsea midfielder, an Arsenal midfielder, whatever. Maybe even for us, and improve it. But I don't think he's as good as people think he is. But I don't think he's a bad player. Do you know what I mean? I do think he's a quality player and he'd upgrade us. And I think he'd probably be our second best midfielder, maybe, in a sense. But I think £100 million, I think, is a £50 million, £60 million player at best.
What else we got in terms of thingies? You shrink when you get older. You don't shrink 4 inches at 50.
I'd
45.
Not sure on that. But yeah. But looking at more comments before we wrap this up soon. It's 50 mil max, 193 centimetres. Don't even know how tall that is. You got to basically give me in foot, otherwise I have no idea what you're talking about. Mr. Dakani says, how do you think we would have done in the Champions League if we were in it this season? How far would we have gone against the PSG or Bayern? Honestly, I think the way that United are playing now, I don't think there's a team in world football that I wouldn't back us to at least get a result against. We might not necessarily win, it might be a draw, but I think we'd compete against just about anyone with our strongest 11 at the moment. So I think we'd have done decently well.
I didn't talk to you about your balls, Ronnie.
Talk to me then.
I'll talk to you about your balls. You ready for this? Right? Listen, spring has sprung, our friends. And our friends at Manscaped, the leaders in below the waist grooming, have the best tools for some spring cleaning in your pants, right? I could have seen that one coming a mile off. Trust me, your confidence will be blooming like the flowers. You've got to look your best this spring and join the 8 million men. It's gone up. When we started doing these reads, it was 2 million. Now it's 8 million. And I think we've converted all 6 million of those men, right? That who trust Manscaped. And if you use the code XG20, you will get 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com. Manscaped is going to change the way that fellas take care of themselves. They've got the Performance Package 4.0, and in that, they have got the Ball Care Bundle that your balls are going to fall in love with. They've got the Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer, the Weed Whacker, the Ear, Nose and Hair Trimmer, the Crop Preserver, which is deodorant for your balls, and trust me, some of you lot need deodorant for your balls. And the Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer is elite. It's an electric trimmer that provides proprietary, advanced, skin-safe technology. The trimmer is designed to trim your hair on loose skin, so you're not going to be bleeding all over the gaff. 20% free shipping, XG20, get it done.
Get it done. All right, so right then we've looked at pundits and the utter dribble that they're talking about. There was probably more that we could have.
Tina?
Probably could have more. Who's Tino?
Clasamiro.
Okay, no.
He's a combo of Carrick, Keno.
Does it all the time, Steve. Just 2 foots me in the middle of a conversation. Go on then.
I was. It's gone off the page now. Charlie Savage has apparently won Forest Green Player of the Month. Go on, Charlie, lad. He was at the cup final this weekend too.
Yeah. Him and Zidane Iqbal look like promising players as well.
Well done, Charlie. SK, a lot of footballers have disc issues later. Could have lost a couple. I mean, yeah, Rio's back in all sorts of shit. He was in wheelchair a couple of Halloweens ago, wasn't he? Over his back. M says, do I reckon for 40 million, Kim Min-jae release clause and selling Maguire for 30 would be a good deal? The problem is, you can't have 2 players in every position that are all first choice. I think there has to be a hierarchy. You probably have 14 players that you consider first choice. I think your centre-half partnership, though, needs to be that. It needs to be Martinez and Varane. Yeah. And then you need to have someone that you trust that could be the third wheel in that. Whether that's a youngster or someone at the tail end of their career where they're happy to not. I think Kim Min-jae, the man's out here challenging for titles and stuff at the moment. You go, hey, would you like to be the backup to Martinez? He's going to be like, fucking no. Like, yeah, even if I want to play for United, no, I don't want to be the backup to someone.
I think if United are going to get a third choice centre-half, it has to be a good one, but it has to be probably young. Like someone a little bit young and up and coming where they'll probably be okay with that role. Yeah. I don't think we'll be able to get into the market and find someone that's basically top-notch level in Martinez or Varane that's going to be okay with not starting week in, week out, unfortunately. Especially when you don't rotate your centre halves too much these days.
No, you don't want to. The midfield, you maybe get away with having 3 for 2 positions or 4 for 3 positions. I think that's fine. Same with wingers. I think that's fine. Having 3 or 4 for 2 positions, I think that's not a problem. Brian Casey there talking about last week, talk of 18 million will get Sabitzer on a permanent deal in the summer. No brainer. I agree. He's fitting perfect.
I'd take him for that.
I'd take him Weghorst as well, and I think Weghorst would probably be all right with being the rotation striker.
Yeah.
You come in and bring in a proper number 9, like a wow number 9 signing, and the horse is his backup.
I honestly think Sabitzer, because Sabitzer can play in numerous positions as well. He's not shown that so far, but I think that Sabitzer could be a way that we give Bruno some rest, because that man is Iron Man, and we can't rely on it lasting forever. He plays 90 minutes week in, week out, game after game, and he doesn't get a rest, and we look like a different team when he doesn't play from an energy and front foot standpoint. But I think Sabitzer's got enough about him to fill in that role. So I personally think Sabitzer will be valuable for that price just because of his versatility and he's got ability as well.
Luca there says, how much would you be willing to pay to get Weghorst as a permanent squad player? 20 mil? 25 mil?
For Weghorst, I think that's overpriced.
Do you reckon?
I think for a centre forward that's for Manchester United that isn't lethal, I think we could use 20 million to buy a striker that moves the needle, rather than taking 20 mil from our budget to sign someone that at best is should be a second to third choice striker for United.
Be interesting how much Burnley want for him, because when they're back in the Premier League, they're probably going to want him back.
I think he'll go back, but I don't know if does he suit company's system.
Flying though.
Apparently, they're saying that company's Burnley's might be the best Championship side they've seen in 25 years.
Wow. I called it early on Company.
Yeah.
I'd heard ages ago about how Company used to lead the analysis sessions, and then I actually asked him about him, and he said he didn't.
Yeah.
You're like, all right, I'll shut the fuck up then.
No.
But yeah, someone told me that someone that we know that works at City had been like, yeah, Company leads the analysis sessions. Yeah. Now maybe that was him being humble and not wanting to take the finger.
Yeah.
But maybe as a captain, he got more involved than most would.
Mm.
But yeah, he was one of those City players that I actually was jealous of. They've had a load of trash that I didn't really give a toss about. Yaya Toure and Vincent Kompany were world class, great characters that I think would have been loved at United.
Mm. I definitely agree with you.
And Kompany looks like he's making himself a right manager as well.
I agree. But you know, Steve did do a Sabitzer video earlier.
Yes, went out this morning talking about whether we should keep him or not, what he's brought so far and what it would cost and so on. So see if we'll get Josh to link that in the comments right now. But yeah, it's a really good video that's gone out earlier. SK there talking about Sabitzer runs into the box as well. Like there's a lot of stuff off the ball that's really nice about this team at the moment. I'm very excited for seeing what happens when Ten Hag is here for the entire pre-season and summer.
Yeah.
He gets to go into it knowing what he needs now, because it was a bit of guesswork really, wasn't it? Until you get on the pitch with the players, you've only seen what you've seen them on telly. Yeah. And what he was seeing on telly last year must have had him with his head in his hands going, Jesus Christ, have I got some work to do. There'll be players that have pleasantly surprised him. There'll have been players that he thought were better than they've turned out to be. Maybe Tony Marshall, Donny van der Beek might be a couple of those, where he thought he could get more out of them than they've shown. And there'll be players where he goes, okay, I'm happy with like 6 or 7 first team places here. If I can fill the rest of them in, shit, man. The form that he's on at the moment is championship winning form. The record at home, like post World Cup, is championship winning form. Yeah. You know, we just got to reset this shit again in the summer. Be in the Champions League, mate. We're going to be in the Champions League. We're going to manager that thinks he can win it.
Yeah, I agree, Josh. You're going to send that. We're going to put a link in the chat.
Matt G says, with Inter needing funds, thoughts on Barella. What's going on with Italian football? I watched Inter against Bologna the other day, and they were fucking miles off it.
Yeah, I don't know, man. There's a few players that we can get into some. It's going to be exciting. We're just going to have to see what happens to the owners. But in terms of Liverpool, though, the more that it's gone on, and the more that I've seen Klopp rattled, the more confident I am that we might be able to actually get a result.
They're all rattled.
We'll have to see, because they're all rattled. All the pundits are.
They're all rattled. Everyone's rattled. It's sensational.
I
wonder if Burnley are going to do the thing that every Championship team does. That's got this very defined style of play. You got a couple of choices. You come in and you play the way you do. What got you to the dance, as they say in MMA. Yeah. Don't change what got you to the dance, but inevitably they do.
Because we played against companies.
Brentford didn't.
Yeah, I know.
Brentford
it happened. Yeah, but usually the top team that flat. We played companies Burnley early in the season in the League Cup.
Yeah, they were shit.
And they were so bad. So I don't know. I feel like it's the style down there. We'll have to see though. But look at a few comments before we've wrapped this up though.
Yeah, Gareth there says, what do I think Ten Hag thinks of Wan-Bissaka at the minute? I think he'll be pleasantly surprised, but probably think I've got him to a level where we can get good money for him now, and then move it on.
Yeah, I definitely agree.
Phosphorus Haven says, Whoop is class. Interesting. Very interesting. Maybe we'll have something coming out with them and a bit of a challenge. So if you're thinking of buying one, don't get one just yet. And we're going to do a whole little thing. Probably more on that early next week once we've sorted out some graphics and stuff for it. But we're going to be doing another fitness challenge, but one that you guys can come and join in on. Details about that probably next week. But it is mint, you're right. Very mint. Adrian says, seems Weghorst ain't here to score goals, which is weird for a striker. Well, that was another thing I sort of spoke about with Danny Murphy today, where I said, you had a bit of a system striker in Firmino for the longest time, who did things for everybody else to benefit from. Mane and Salah worked because of the things he was doing off the ball and where he would move players around. Weghorst doing the same thing for United.
Yeah, but there's just he's just not quite starting United calibre though. If we are actually going to go to the next level, nothing wrong with that.
Andy there says, happy to see Garnacho called up to the Argentina squad. So I was listening to someone this morning, I can't remember who it was, and they were talking about Garnacho, and they were talking about how he's got this bit of a stoic sort of nature, whereas Cristiano at this age was a bit of a crybaby, wasn't he? He was always diving and like slapping his hands on the floor whenever he got tackled, and that. You don't really see that from Garnacho. He's a bit harder almost. And I thought, I wonder.
I don't know about that.
It seems like he's got more of an edge.
More an edge, but he's very lightweight though.
He is lightweight.
When he gets in the gym, he'd be lethal.
Yeah,
but at
if
the
he
moment,
follows Ronaldo's physical trajectory.
At the moment, Garnacho, as soon as a defender puts an arm on him, he goes flying.
Oh, we've seen Aylin. Aylin just dealt with him because of that. Yeah.
Like
the point I was going to make is, Lisandro Martinez being the guy that travels with him to and from national team training has to be brilliant for him, because if he can get into games approaching him in the same sort of, or even a similar sort of mindset as Martinez, oh boy, what a player. Yeah. There was bits of the cup final, I didn't even touch on them, but there was bits of the cup final where it was booting off and Martinez was right in the mix of it and just screensaver face, did not give a fuck. I loved it. I fucking love him. Called it the day we saw him. Was it Bilbao, that friendly that we had at the start of the season, when there is a cult hero in him? I can see it. He's been mint. He's been everything Rojo thought he was.
Okay, right, that's that right.
Frankie de Jong handed in a transfer request. Is that real?
No, yeah, he's that's definitely waffle. But I feel like I might do a Josh Denzel right now.
What's that mean?
He goes, his favourite phrase is, "We could talk about this all day."
You know when he's wrapping up.
Yeah, you know that's what he.
Is that the like? Listen, shut up. We're gonna wrap it.
Wrap it. We're going on for ages.
Righty then. Please go and support Manscaped. The link for that is in the description. You get 20% off and free shipping, and it's top quality stuff. They support the channel. If you do us a favour, go and support those guys. Cheers for tuning in. As always, subscribe, like the video, get your comments, and we will see you in the next one. Laters. Hey, thank you for watching the video. If you are new around these parts, then don't forget to subscribe. My channel is proudly supported by my community on Patreon. If you'd like to get a little bit of extra content, a Discord group, meetups, five-a-side games, weekly podcasts, behind the scenes, and even an occasional bit of transfer news as and when I get it, then for the price of a pint, you can show your appreciation for the content that we make and get some goodies for doing so as well. Check the link in the description or click the button right here. You'll also find all of my socials here too if you want to follow me on any of those platforms. Nice one.